All right, we are broadcasting live for On the Hunt 94. That's right, episode 94 of the On the Hunt podcast. Joining me tonight, as always, we got the number one Lions fan, Mr. Bobby Bless. We also have got our resident defensive coordinator, Mr. Nate Rucker. I'm Elijah Winfrey. And of course, joining us, as always, in spirit, and we say in spirit because we know that if he could be here, if his schedule allowed him to be, he would be on the screen too. Mr. Reggie Funches, we're hoping to get him back on the program as soon as possible. What I want to do right now, so I can make sure everything is operating smoothly, is I'm going to toss it over here to Bobby Bless, and then Bobby, I'll have you toss it to Nate, and Nate, when you're ready, toss it back to me. Okay, Bobby, go ahead.
Well, what's going on this evening, man? I know we coming off a loss, but as a Lions fan, I think we done got spoiled where we devastated by every loss now. I we ain't numb no more. And close losses usually didn't fry me up like they do now. So um I gotta get reacquainted with how I handle losing because I'd be mad for like the first fucking hour, dude. Like this salty, like don't shit don't taste good. Nothing tastes good, man. Nothing. Beer be cold as hell, tastes warm. But
Chase Warren.
yeah, it's cold as fuck. Beer be warm. No, I just, even though I'm happy with their effort, I just don't know. I think I'm just tired of always them damn referees, man. It's like
Mm,
them referees make it. I can go. I'm probably pretty sure we're gonna talk about it, so I ain't gonna go into it deep. But that I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet, and then I'm gonna shoot it to you, Nate. I don't know how I feel about them motherfuckers huddling and then changing the play that can't be reviewed. I just don't understand that.
mhm.
Whether Jared Goff did what he's supposed to do or not, because that I guess that's a opinion or I don't subjective. That's the word I was subjected. I just don't understand how you can just have a replay, but it ain't a replay because they didn't never throw the flag. So what the fuck they over there talking about? That's what I don't understand though. Cause I seen Andy Reid say something to them, and then it's like they got to working for Kansas City. So I don't know. Nate, I'm a distraught Lions fan. Uh,
You know what? It's one of them where losing is one thing, but it's about the way we lose that is the irritating part. You know, especially when you're looking at it and it's a game that we all know we're supposed to win, and because of certain things, the way certain things played out, we didn't win. So, you try not to harp on it because again, man, like I say, talk about it for a day or two, but after that, man, you got to move on to the next game. Because regardless what we say, how we feel about it, it's not going to change the outcome. The league gives two shits about what we think. Now, I did see where they were a statement or so was put out where they were talking about uh, that the game would be looked at.
but no, but
You
I'm sick of
know,
that shit too.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's not like you're going to go back and say, okay, the Lions win. That's not going to happen. So you going back and looking at the game is going to do what now? Absolutely nothing. It's like when we played Kansas City in 23, they went back, they looked at it, said, oh yeah, this tackle was offsides every single snap against Aiden Hutchinson.
I do remember that.
Only thing they did was the next game they penalized Kansas City like 12, 13 times. That didn't change the win for us. It just, we just had to learn from it and keep going. So I don't know. Eli, man, what you got, brother?
Well, so for me, I'm not really that concerned about the officials tonight. I'm not really concerned about Brian Branch punching somebody in the face.
That's
Uh,
stupid though.
I mean, all the storylines that every other Lions fan is concerned about are not where my concerns lie. Where my concerns lie is real simple. we looked disorganized as hell that first drive, and specifically at the
Oh,
end,
offense?
at the ending of that first drive.
Oh, offense?
Yeah, leading up to the score, we looked good. We looked great, actually, to be honest. I love the play calling. I love the balance. Okay, we were doing anything we wanted to do, and then we get down there towards the goal line, and we start having some issues trying to get the ball in. We run a trick play. Trick play, was successful, and I get where Bobby's coming from. It's a play that's not reviewable, and yet they figured out some way to review it.
Right.
That doesn't happen for other teams. That only happens against us, it seems, because in that same situation, if somebody would have done that to us, then they would have said, "Oh, well, we can't review it, and we'll just apologize to you later." Anybody remember that Houston Texans game that happened on Thanksgiving where the guy
Jim
was down, very
Schwartz.
clearly down? Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
Jim
But
Schwartz
that was
dumbass should have
Jim
knew the
Short's
rule.
fault.
Yeah, he
But-
should have knew
Yeah,
the rule.
that was on. that
but
was
my
on
point,
Shorts.
my point is though is that when it's been ticky tacky in the past, it never really goes in our favor.
Oh,
But
that is true.
But my concern is, and I think this is legitimate, we did not know what the hell we were doing during that sequence at the end of that drive. Were we going to go for it? We didn't know. Were we going to kick a field goal? We didn't know. It just looked disorganized, and we don't normally look that way. Normally, we know what we're doing, and that concerns me a little bit. And obviously, that's going to happen every once in a while. But to me, it's just like, man, we should have known in that situation. Are you going for it on fourth, or are you running the field goal team out there? Not this back and forth trying to figure it out affair.
No,
And
I don't think it was that, Elijah. I feel like they knew they was gonna go for it, but Jared Goff said, "Fuck that, let me cuss these referees out." That's how I feel. I think he took that time to get the delay of game
I
to
agree.
fuss at the
I agree.
referee.
But
I think they was already going for the field
Why?
goal, whether it's 5 yards, whether it's 5 yards or 10 yards. They wasn't adding 50 yards to it. They was only gonna add 5 yards to it.
But
So
and I'm gonna use something that Nate said in the past though. Nate has said in the past, okay, don't worry about the referees, play your game, okay, and eventually you will get the respect from them because you're not bitching about them all the time.
that shit ain't working. Nate wrong.
Okay, but here's the thing though, in that situation, what's the point of taking that? You're not going to convince them to then overturn it a second time. It made us look like we were just dysfunctional.
I agree with you saying because we so efficient, but you fell into add in the I don't give a fuck formula to it though. They don't care about that 5 yard. I think it was self-imposed. They was just gonna just talk shit to them damn referees. I think after that 5 yards, they was already gonna kick a field goal. So cussing out the referees for the whole other time clock, I think was part of the plan. Whether it was a good thing, whether it was a bad thing, I'll let that's for your kind of opinion. But to say it was disoriented, I don't think it was that.
And like I said, that's just where
It wasn't. It wasn't efficient. It wasn't efficient, and it probably wasn't even the right thing to do.
And my point is, after that though, I feel like that confusion set the tone for the rest of the game.
That call set the tone. That call set the tone.
Did not look right after that. And again, in a way, this is a new coaching staff this year because you got a new OC, you got a new DC. Yes, the DC was there before, but it's a different hat that he's wearing. And it's just like that kind of, in my opinion, that showed a little bit of youth on that coaching staff. It was like we didn't know what we were doing. And again, for the rest of the game, we didn't look right. And Nate, go ahead.
I really think it wasn't just that, but you have to take into account of Arrowhead Stadium. You have to take into the crowd. You have to take into the fact that you have new starters on this offensive line that probably don't know all these calls. And then you're dealing with Chris Johnson in the middle. We had a lot of penetration going right up the middle. So with that being said, you had to make sure that everybody was on key. You got Dan Skipper out there at a tackle. You got Glasgow, who we've seen, who's had his struggles this year. Yeah, he's been playing better, but he's had his struggles. Mahogany's banged up. So that also with the crowd noise and Arrowhead, You're in the end zone. So it was a lot of key factors in that. And true enough, yeah. And then you got to take into account also that what we couldn't see is that Chris Jones is lining up offsides on that goal line the entire time.
Right.
So again, so you have line audibles that these guys are they're trying to make, and you got that crowd right there. So I don't think it was so much all of Jared Goff. It's just the whole communication right then at that point. It was just a lot of factors into it. So when they did what they did to take that away, it was like, okay, Jared Goff knew he was going to take this field goal. Like, I'm already seeing this right here, and it's too early. Because again, Jared Goff said himself, like, we went through this. You know, maybe we need to go back and relook at these rules because as far as I knew, everything I did was correct. Because again, he never went under center. He never went under center. So when the center had the ball, but he never went under center. He was actually in the A gap between the center and the guard. So by him going in motion, he never had to come to a complete stop because he never went under center. So that's where Jared Goff and his issue was. And he's like, okay, and I'm feeling like you referees supposed to know this.
Right.
So yeah. So like I said, it was just a lot of factors, but I don't think it was so much of them being unprepared as much as it was with the crowd. It was just a lot of factors at that end zone that was going on.
Yeah, you know how many like NBA coaches just call timeout to cuss out the referees? That kind
Yeah.
of shit, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
because when we seen it, Dan Campbell straight went to him like, okay. Dan Campbell went to him, Jared Goff went to him. You seen Panay go try to talk to him, like, wait a minute now. So evidently, you know, the Lions go through these rules before they do these trick plays.
they practice with the damn referees.
Right. And the thing is, and remember, this happened against Dallas when when they told him, hey, I'm reporting eligible. And Dan Campbell told them that this will be a play that may be used during the game.
Right.
So again, the referees knew what was coming. So how do you not know what's about to happen?
Right. And you know, again, like I said, from my perspective, it was that first drive, the way the first drive ended, I feel like set the tone for the rest of the game.
I feel where you're coming from.
I don't feel like we were the same team after that. And again, the part about that concerns me, and I'm not trying to raise a giant red flag this evening. That's not what I'm trying to do. I do not think the sky is falling. I think we're going to be okay. But we got outside of ourselves. We let a call that didn't go our way affect the way that we play football. And this Dan Campbell Lions team does not normally do that. We don't let that crap affect us. We just go out there and say, "Oh, okay, so it didn't go our way this time. That's fine. Guess what? We're gonna do it again, and this time we're gonna make sure that there's nothing you can call against us." That's just been the grit mentality. And I feel like we got outside of ourselves in this game, and then Kansas City was allowed to stick around in a game that they had no business being in. Because again, we should have dominated them, and we didn't. And then as far as Brian Branch is concerned, you know, the only thing I can really say about that is that this is nothing new for Brian Branch. You know, he's a player that plays with his heart on his sleeve. He's got a lot of emotion. He's done this stuff before when he was flipping off the crowd in Green Bay, when he was getting personal foul penalties. You know, sometimes a player is just that damn good where you got to accept some of the things they do that maybe you don't like. And I'll be honest with you, in this particular instance, I'm on Brian Branch's side because Juju Smith-Schuster asked for that shit and our guy delivered it. So, and I get it. Dan Campbell saying that's inexcusable because that's what he's got to say. I understand that. I understand that, you know, we're going to have Brian Branch miss a game. He's going to try to appeal it. I doubt he's going to win that appeal. But
he hurt anyway. Shit.
But, you know, but again, with Brian Branch, I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about it being a huge problem moving forward. My concern is we let a call ruin the rest of the game. That is my concern. Like, that's not what I'm used to seeing from this Lions team. And like Bobby, I have to get reaccustomed to the feeling of losing a game because that don't normally happen to us. And now it don't get easier because now we got to play the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football in Detroit, and that's going to be a brawl because Baker Mayfield's got those boys in Tampa Bay believing they can do something. And we have to tell them, not in our house. And hopefully we can get our personality back and do what we're supposed to do. Because again, one missed call should not affect the entire rest of the game. Because again, unlike other calls that have gone against us in the past, this was not at the end of the game. This was at the beginning of it. So there was a lot more football to be played, and we played like dog shit for the rest of that game. That's my personal opinion. But Nate, I'll toss it over to you.
Yeah, I don't think that one call really stopped it. What I didn't like, it was a lot. David Montgomery not getting necessary amount of touches. Like, I love you good, but David Montgomery his role shouldn't be less. David Montgomery, like the run game down at the ball, you have the screen game going, Amon-Ra uncharacteristically drop the pass on fourth down. It was just a lot, man. And then, like you say, and then I don't think it was that call. I think while the game, it was a build up of no calls. A lot offensive. It reminds me of that thing Remember the Titans, and they knew that the referees were cheating. He's like, man, they calling the holding penalty on there every time. He was like, hey, listen, you want to be a star player? I need a star effort. I get all that, but listen, this is what they doing to me right now.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you already playing Mahomes, you playing the Chiefs. It's like dog. You add that plus the referees, plus when it's like, come on now, like some of this ain't making no sense. And especially when it's not being called evenly. When you look at the pressure, even that we was getting on Mahomes, he's able to step up because everybody's getting grabbed. I seen one Hutch getting grabbed with two hands on his back.
That was Juju.
Like, geez. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, come on now. Like, and then, like I said, as far as Juju, what Brian Branch did, okay, it's fine. Like I said, his personal foul record, or it is what it is. He's gonna knock the hell out you. He's gonna get his personal foul, whatever. But as far as Juju, that's the first time that he's had an illegal block. If y'all remember the game against the Bengals, he knocked Pratt out the game for the crackback block that is illegal. So again, that's what I'm saying. It's one of them like, dog, y'all not calling this. Then, you step over me like Iverson did Tyronn Lue. Like,
yeah, they ain't going for that. They ain't going for that. Ain't none of them.
But here's my thing. But this is how much of the BS that was going on, because J-Mo gets a penalty. If J-Mo dance, he gets a taunting penalty. Right. Y'all, they have allowed Mahomes, these guys, they step over you. They dropping the ball, spinning it in front of you.
Hell yeah, that's what Mahomes did.
Directly.
That's what Mahomes
right, you're
did.
doing these things directly in front of the players, but when it's done the other way, the Lions get called for it. You get unsportsmanlike penalties, so on and so forth. So it's like, come on now. And if the cameras are catching these live, and each referee or umpire has the job that you're supposed to be doing, you're not missing it unless you just turning a blind eye to it. So I think that more so was the frustration. Then that's why, when Juju did what he did, Branch, did what he did. That was just a frustrating loss. If they didn't like the way they played, they didn't like the outcome. Mm-hmm. And then you just hit me with a dirty play and you want to laugh and shake my hand. Yeah. And so, but also what I looked at was that when Mahomes put his hand out, Branch walked right by him. Branch like, man, I ain't shaking your damn hand. Yeah. And then you're going to grab my hand and try to make me shake your hand? And then Yeah, Mahomes did that. Yeah. So when Braxton shake his hand, he continues to walk, and Mahomes grabs his hand anyway, like you gonna shake my hand.
Man, you.
And at this time, and then next thing you know, Juju done turned around. Don't know what he said, but okay, you take. Ain't nobody got time for your shit.
That
Yeah.
boy got
So
that
again,
boy
I
got
can't
whooped.
I
That boy
can't
got
say,
whooped with all them people trying to stop him and still got whooped. That is funny to me.
dog. Listen, he slung Juju like
It,
like like like, like a like a pit bull on a chihuahua. He's Hey, look, like my god brother said, hey, look, he cracked him with the left with a
I
one hand,
man,
dog, one hand at that.
he would have whooped the other dude too.
Yeah,
So
listen, get
I saw a meme, Nate. I saw a meme that said, "When the TikTok dance don't go the way you think it will," and I'm like,
Man,
right.
right,
Listen,
because
getting
that's exactly
slaps,
what it was.
and then on top of
Can't
that,
put that
he
on TikTok.
him being knocked down with the right was a total flop. So
Yeah,
then you get up to try to man up and try to say, "Hey, I'm a man too," and he drags your ass. No, you're not. You're a
man,
kid.
when he yanked his helmet, I could have swore he spent in the air. I spin him spin in the air. So
"Wow."
Juju need to leave it alone. And as far as I got to say about Brian Branch, just to put the little cherry on top of this one, big dog, is no doubt he shouldn't have did it. Shouldn't did it. Shouldn't have did it in the game. Shouldn't did it after the game. Shouldn't did it in the locker room. Should have did it in the parking lot. But that's some stuff you got to deal with when you're getting these players that you got to calm down instead of hype up. So now I don't want them trying to water him down where he the water boy scared to hit. You know what I mean? But I will say he can't retaliate. I don't know if they got to hypnotize him or what. He can't retaliate because we we need him on the field. But the blessing in disguise is he already was questionable the last few weeks anyway. Go and sit your ass down, rest your ankle for free, and then get back at it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You one of them hard hitting players. You gonna always have the light on you as far as hits. So anything you do that ain't football it's like soup, but just like in the secondary. That's how I look at it. Play all pro, but don't piss him off.
And it's funny, Bobby, because before I watched the Lions and the Chiefs game on Saturday, I had a broadcast for the local high school football team up here, and right in the middle of that game, there was a brawl that broke out. And of course, high school football games up here are free to go to. So I made a comment on the radio. I said, you kind of got a 2-for-1 special. Got to go to the football game and the boxing match. But then of course the Lions end up having their own version of that right afterwards. So,
Dude,
but
I didn't even see it because I was so mad they lost. I
yeah.
woke up. I woke up the next morning. They talk about Brian Branch did what? Man,
Some people don't like their hands held. That's all. You're not gonna force me to hold your hand. So, but as far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that are coming up, obviously Monday night at 7 o'clock kickoff for that game. I'm just curious y'all's thoughts on that. Nate, by the way, left our thing, so he'll have to hop back.
he's driving in the car anyway.
Okay, but your thoughts, Bobby, on Tampa Bay coming up?
We gotta beat them. This regime has shown that we don't lose 2 games in a row, no matter what the scenario is.
Right.
So let's continue that trend. We got to somehow get pressure on Baker. If you don't get no pressure on him, he's just gonna have his way.
Yeah.
I want the offense to, like Nate was starting to get that ball to Montgomery more. And it's not just because he's on my fantasy team. It's just that we need him to do his thing. And I like how they tried to get J-Mo involved. I'm not really that mad about the offense. I'm not really mad about the defense. You just got to up our level more. Ain't a bunch of stuff I can wave my whistle and chalkboard that about, but I just feel like we all right. Let's just go show we all right.
Yep.
That's it.
I certainly get that, Bobby. I know for myself with this Tampa Bay game, everybody knows by now if you've listened to anything I've talked about over the last 94 episodes, I like me some Baker Mayfield. I do. I liked him when he was in Cleveland. I liked him when he was in Oklahoma. He has a swagger about him. He's a gunslinger, and I think he's this generation's Brett Favre, and hopefully not the
Hell no.
hopefully not the off the field stuff, but the on the field. I mean, Baker Mayfield looks like he's having the time of his life every time he goes out there and plays football. So I love watching what he's doing in Tampa Bay. I'm glad that he's in a city that actually appreciates him, unlike Cleveland, who now is getting everything that they deserve.
Man, I don't understand them.
I really don't. And even Mike Tomlin came out against the Cleveland Browns and said, "Explain to me how you're going to get yourself your starting quarterback and trade him to a division rival when you know that they need a quarterback. That don't make no sense." But anyway,
I was mad when we traded Hawkinson to the Vikings. I just
I wasn't. He sucked.
Yeah, but I don't. You know how much I ain't like him either. But shit, don't give him shit. Nothing. I'd have hung up.
Nah, it's all about the value though. Hawkinson.
I know. Yeah, but
right.
I don't like.
Wasn't nobody. For Hawkinson, man, wasn't nobody giving up. Nobody really needed a tight end. Minnesota.
No, yeah, Nate. I know it's a bunch of legit shit you can say, but fuck the other side. I already know.
Hawkinson ain't did shit against us since he been in Minnesota. I think he maybe done had one good game.
Kirby broke his leg or his knee or something anyway.
So as far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game is concerned, obviously I think it's basically comes down to getting pressure against Baker Mayfield, and obviously taking advantage of the chances we have. We usually can run pretty good on them, so I fully expect that to be the case. Hopefully Montgomery and Gibbs can both get themselves another touchdown.
They kicked his. I remember in the divisional playoff, we kicked his ass.
Yeah,
smacked him. So
but again, remember last year, Hutch had his best game as a pro with 5 sacks against the Bucs.
Right. And again, this game is in Detroit, 7 o'clock kickoff. So I fully expect Ford Field to be a rocking. And I don't think the Buccaneers have played in that type of environment yet this season. They have had a lot of come from behind victories. And last week they got to do their first victory formation. So again, they're never really out of it. But again,
they won here.
Didn't that receiver get hurt
last year?
Yeah, they've had almost all of their receivers get hurt. That's why it's so impressive what Mayfield's doing out there, because he's throwing.
He
string guy.
Still got Abuka. Abuka has shown
he hurt,
but I think Abuka playing.
No, he probably playing, but he hurt though.
Shit, listen, hurt and injured is 2 different things. I'm hurt right now.
He got a hamstring though. Them motherfuckers will flare up on him.
Yeah. You can't go. It just depends on what grade it is. I mean, they definitely can damper everything that you're doing. So it really just all depends.
Their running back hurt too.
Bucky Irving, yes. So that helps because he would be a matchup nightmare coming out of the backfield. Like our linebackers are cool, but they use Bucky Irving like the Lions do Jahmyr Gibbs.
We should be able to run on them though.
Yeah, I mean, they still got that big goddamn Willie Mammoth in the middle,
right?
Which to me is going to be a problem because all we've struggled with is pressure directly up the middle. So it's definitely, and especially they bring Vita Vea in. They use him on different downs and different yardages. So if it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, we don't have Ragnow. Ragnow was able to hold his own against Vita Vea. I don't see Glasgow doing that. So we gonna definitely have to do a lot of zone blocking or whatever so that Glasgow and Mahogany not one-on-one with this guy, because I don't think they got the strength to deal with Vea. I'm not even going to lie. For T-Rex arms is a problem when the only thing he got to do is push.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So,
So
And
I will
you
say
seen what he did to the 49ers center. Shit, I feel bad for him.
I will say, if this game was in Tampa Bay, I would almost guarantee that we would lose the game. And I realize some people are going to be like, Elijah, what are you doing? But
We won in Tampa. We beat their ass in Tampa. They
this,
came here, they beat us at home.
I know,
That's why I'm like, I'm
but
not
to
concerned
me,
about Tampa.
I am concerned about this game. Like legitimately, I am concerned about this game,
Uh-huh.
and let's see what Dan Campbell and company have up their sleeve for this one. But I am concerned, to say the least, and I really hope that that crowd at Ford Field makes it very very hard for the Buccaneers, and hopefully our defense can do what they need to do. I will say I didn't see any harsh effects from not having Turrier and Arnold out there, against Kansas City like I thought I was going to. So that was nice. It looked like the defense did a pretty good job against KC, in my humble opinion. But offensively, we just weren't able to keep up with them, and that's usually our strong suit. So in this game against the Buccaneers, like I said, hopefully our defense can hold it together like they did this past week. And hopefully, offensively, we'll be able to score like we normally do, and that crowd will be a big factor. But again, this game does concern me on Monday night at 7. And I don't know if you guys share my same concern or not, or if you think we're just going to be perfectly fine.
Nah,
But, Bobby, I'll toss it over to you. Nate, you'll get it after Bobby, and then we'll go to closing remarks, my friends.
Better win. I don't give a damn who on the schedule. To get where we need to get, they gotta beat whoever, wherever. So I don't care who there or who ain't there, man. They better come up with a damn game plan because that's what the coaching for. He still got the talent. The main cogs on this team, other than the secondary, was still there. As they say, Nate, I know you heard this a million times. Don't know one monkey stop no show. So
absolutely.
so that's about how I feel about it. I got concerns every game because I'm a pessimist when it comes to this damn team. So I can make concerns and after the Super Bowl, I wouldn't give a fuck. So um so that really I ain't worried though. I just want to see my team play as good as they capable of playing. You know what I mean? And I'm just glad we playing somebody we can't play down to, so they already gonna have their ears open and their eyes open. So let's just go through the schedule like we supposed to get where we need to be. Nate,
Again, we haven't lost 2 games in a row in what, 3, 4 years?
it's been a while.
That has been one of the things about Dan Campbell, that regardless how we lose, what happens, he really does get his team prepared for the next game. He don't let a loss linger, regardless of what happens. We've seen it we've seen it many a times. We done had a bad loss. We done got ass kicked. Then Campbell still like, okay, that's fine. You know what? I mean, this is something that my guys needed because they really need to be brought back down to earth because everybody is always telling us now how good we are. That's all we hear. How talented we are, how good we are. Okay, that's fine. But there's always things that can derail you. So you have to stay focused at all times. You have to stay locked in. And so that's one of the things that's why I love Dan Campbell and the way he preaches to his team and he holds everybody accountable. Like, hey, all right, what happened is over. Listen, we can't worry about the referees. We can't worry about the play that they pulled back from golf. We know we were supposed to win. So now all this frustration we got, let's get out here and take it out on these Bucks. We got to show up. We got to show out, and we got to take care of business. We can't make excuses from the one game to the next. We can't go out here and be like, oh, I was still thinking about last game. Oh, well, I didn't do this because last game they did this. Nah, that's not how they play. So I think that we win it. I think it's going to be a high score game, but it also depends on, like I say, if Abuka doesn't play, that's going to be a big help. But again, I haven't looked at last time I checked. Mike Evans was okay. So their 2 big threats are still going to be a problem. No Bucky Irvin. Like again, we should be fine. But what we got to do, what I would like to see, honestly, I want to see David Montgomery start again. I want us to get back to what we were doing last year. Like David Montgomery getting 8 carries a game is not an effective back for him. David Montgomery can't do 8 to 12. Jameer can do 8 to 15 and be perfectly fine because of his speed. You let David Montgomery get in there, get in between the tackles, wear these guys down, and get back to what we doing.
Yeah, Campbell said he's gonna do that.
It's crazy. Like I said, and again, I know Campbell's not calling the plays. I know it's on Morton. We all love Jahmyr Gibbs. Yes, he is electric. But this is why when I talk to fans and I tell, oh, well, Jahmyr Gibbs should be starting. We don't need David Montgomery, blah, 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 blah. And then you run into things like this. And then you see why we, on the Hunt Show, why we talk the way we do and we explain things the way we do. Jahmyr Gibbs, yes, but the league right now is a 2-back squad. Yes, you can say, well, 2 backs, Jahmyr will get 2,000 yards, blah, 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 that's fine. But you have to look at the importance of his how instrumental he is and why Jahmyr Gibbs is able to get through these. Like when he get there, David Montgomery, these guys get tired of trying to bring this big dude down. So now Jahmyr Gibbs, who breaks a lot of tackles, he can break it and go. These guys be tired, run down. So I just want us to get back to what we do. And again, T-Rex arms bothers me because of our inner offensive line. So I think we should win this. Let's get back to Lions football, running the ball, and get ahead so that we can use our play action. Our play action is our money thing, and we need to get back to that. Eli.
It kind of reminds me of the early 2000 Colts, not gonna lie. Again, Peyton Manning, and he can go out there and sling it with people, but once they got that play action going, it was game over. So, and of course, y'all already know I've already said that I think Jared Goff is kind of like Peyton Manning in a lot of ways. So, but with all that being said, as we come to our closing remarks, obviously I'm hopeful for a victory. I'm hoping that I can get a nice little three-fer going on. I'm hoping that the high school football team I cover wins their game on Thursday because they are playing a weird Thursday night game due to a lack of officials up here in Northern New York. And then Saturday, my Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets will take their undefeated record, by the way, up to Duke to play the Blue Devils. So that'll be interesting.
They play basketball? Shit.
They playing. Listen, I tell you what, I'm hopeful. I'll tell you a brief story. So back in 2003, when I first became a Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets fan, Duke was not good at football. They were like horrible at football. And I went around my house saying, everybody beats Duke. Everybody beats Duke. And I was like 7 or 8 years old at the time, I want to say. And so my pawpaw, who's no longer with us, may he rest in peace, but he said, oh, everybody beats Duke? I said, pawpaw, everybody beats Duke. That weekend, my Yellow Jackets lost to Duke 34-17 or some bullshit like that. And that Monday morning, my pawpaw brought the newspaper over to me, threw it down in front of my face, and he said, I thought you said everybody beats Duke.
That's all about stepdad.
Anytime Duke plays my dad's team or anybody else, I always go back to that story. Everybody beats Duke. But for Georgia Tech, they're 6-0. They got a noon kickoff in Durham, North Carolina to take on those Blue Devils, and hopefully they'll be 7-0. But right now I'm eating good when it comes to Georgia Tech football, so I'm loving that. And it's looking like it's going to be a dynamic matchup down there in Atlanta this year between my Yellow Jackets and Nate's Bulldogs. So I'm hoping they both keep winning so that we have that big matchup, because that game last year was something else. 8 overtimes was crazy. But anyway, yeah, like I said, the high school team I cover plays on Thursday. Georgia Tech plays on Saturday. Lions play Monday night at 7. I'm hoping that all 3 of these teams win this weekend. We'll see what happens there. And I want to make sure to give Bobby and Nate a chance at their closing remarks, because I don't think I did that. So, Bobby, go ahead with your closing remarks and toss it to Nate.
Man, I need a hat. You see how frustrated I'd be with this team without a hat?
I get it.
Yeah, they better fucking win. Baker Mayfield. Tom Brady, if they gotta dig up Bart Starr, fuck him too. I don't care. Fuck him. Oh shit, I forgot who I helped. But pass it on.
Live on YouTube, Bobby's dropping multiple F-bombs.
Yeah. We were having a nice, clean family show. Then Donnie had to, Bobby had to get in here with his cussing.
But I
Anyway,
had the damn hat.
Nate, your closing remarks, man.
Again, man, like I said, I think we're gonna be all right. We just need to get back to doing what we're doing, get over the fact it didn't go our way, so on, so forth. Fuck it. I mean, I couldn't let Bobby be by himself.
Come on now. Quit your
I couldn't let Bobby. Hey, listen. One band, one sound. You're gonna drop one too, so it's okay.
No,
So yeah.
not a single
But again, man, I just want to thank everybody, man, that watches our show. Everybody that has subscribed for it. Everybody that's been with us for 94 episodes. We are 6 episodes away from that century mark. So we've been rolling, man. We took a little time off. Life was lifing for everybody. But again, the band's getting back together. We just waiting on our big fella. And then, we all going to be one. So again, man, thank everybody. Thank our watchers. Thank our viewers. Thank y'all for all the comments that y'all leave. Again, man, we love y'all. Eli.
And yes, again, if you want to echo everything Nate just said, we're 6 episodes away from 100. I never thought that we'd get that far, so I'm ecstatic about it. You're probably also going to see here in the coming weeks on the channel, by the way, some of our other podcast content will probably be coming back online. Usually for folks who don't know, usually I'll set up a Zoom call like the one that we're in right now, and I'll sit here in front of the camera and I'll rip for like 4 hours, just episode after episode after episode of all the other shows that are on our YouTube channel, and then I'll splice them up throughout the week. So that's how we were doing like 6 podcasts in a week, was because I was doing that. And I haven't done one a recording session like that in a hot minute, but that's probably coming. I'm also working on, and I haven't solidified it quite yet, but I'm working on an interview with Flint, Michigan's John Connor. He is one of my all-time favorite artists. He's a rapper out of Flint, Michigan. I'm sure if you're from the Detroit area or Michigan area, you're very familiar with his music. But a couple months ago, I actually was able to link up with him and talk with him about doing an interview with him about his music. Because when I was homeless, one of the albums that I really, latched onto was one that John Connor had made. So maybe doing an interview with him pretty soon. Which if I can lock that down, I'm going to be ecstatic about it, because again, that's one of my favorite artists. So, and we also got interviews with other people too on the YouTube channel. Just to throw it out there, I know the Reggie Ball video that we have, that keeps getting views and comments like every single day. So I love that. Getting a chance to talk to one of my heroes, that was awesome. It's like, I want to say like a 2.5 hour interview where we talked about like every win that man had in a Georgia Tech uniform, and some of the struggles he had as well. We talked about that. It was a really, really informative interview. So go check that out. Got to do an interview with Sinjin Days. Again, there's a lot of good stuff on the channel, and there's movies on here as well. So if you have a minute, take a look at all the different stuff that we have going on. And again, get ready, because more content is on the way. With all that being said, hey, we miss Reggie Funches. Can't wait for him to come back and be a part of the show. Also, want to close out things by saying, if you come across a situation this week where your skill set can make it better, you now not only have the ability, you have the responsibility to do something about it. Be good to yourself, be good to others, in that order. For Bobby Bless, the #1 Lions fan, our resident defensive coordinator, Nate Rucker, Reggie Funches, I'm Elijah Winfrey, and this